Welcome everybody to the Kim Barrett Show. I am your host, Kim Barrett. And on today's episode, we have a great conversation over in Melbourne at their actual offices of the one and only Slyletica. So Slyletica has been run by some good friends of mine, Simon Rawadi and Yetta Rawadi. They always say Yetta's the brains, Simon's the beauty. You'll see that in the video today. And we're going to cover off on scaling product-based businesses. So something that Simon does really well and he's helped so many people do is if you have a following, if you have an engaged audience, how could you create your own apparel brands and use them to scale? So this is for you. If you've gone, I'd love to launch an apparel brand or a product-based business, and I really want to take that out to market and see how I can scale that and use that as my business model, this is perfect for you. So in this, we cover off and we talk about what are influencers and what sort of people should be looking at doing this if you want to leverage your existing audience to scale a product brand. Then we talk about a few of the hidden, not falsities, but some of the pitfalls that people face, and then really the expertise it takes to scale a product-based business and who that's for. So if you've ever wondered, should I go and start a product business? Should this be something I do? This is the show for you to listen to. So Simon's also coming and joining us at Certified Ballers Live. That's www.certifiedballerslive.com.au. I highly recommend, if you haven't already, grab a ticket. We've got experts like Simon speaking and a whole slew of other people. And he's going to share what he's going to be covering at the event as well in this episode. So make sure that you tune in, you check this one out. Let's jump into the show and chat to Simon. Welcome guys, today we are blessed to have the one and only Mr. Simon Rawadi from Slyletica. So Simon, I would love for you just to share, obviously I've already done an amazing introduction for you, but share with everyone just a little bit about what you do at Slyletica, what you guys are all about, and who you work with. Yeah,
definitely. Well, thanks for having me, and appreciate the introduction. So at Slyletica, in a nutshell, we are Australia's leading brand management and development agency. We specialize in helping people create their own activewear labels. We do swimwear. It's kind of the athleisure space, so it's such a big umbrella. But activewear specifically, and we help people kind of with an idea or with an existing brand, develop new designs. We go through the manufacturing process. We can help them with the marketing process. We build websites for them. We do order fulfillment. So we not only successfully bring a product to the marketplace, but help that brand also sell that product.
Yeah, and that's very important, right?
Oh, it's super important. I think obviously sales, you need sales to have a business, so that's super important.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. And so obviously you're coming to join us at Certified Ballers Live as well, which is going to be epic. So if you guys haven't got a ticket yet, www.certifiedballerslive.com.au, jump on board and get tickets as soon as you can. But why did you guys start this? Because there's been a few iterations. So you've obviously got a background yourself in, used to be like really sales, I would say, and then you've gone and then you launched, you had your own brand, and then you moved into this. Like, how did that happen?
Absolutely. So you're right. I was in a sales background initially when I was working in the corporate world, achieved a lot of success, and I was really happy in that role. But like most entrepreneurs, you kind of ask yourself, what's next? We want a bit more, and so we went into launching our own activewear label about 8 years ago now, we went through all of the problems you could possibly imagine and a brand could have. We had no real fashion experience or starting a clothing brand experience prior to doing it ourselves. So we spent 2 years really trying to refine the process, understand how to improve, how to make sales, how to bring a product to a market, how to deal with international suppliers, importation, just a wide variety of challenges. And 2 years later, we had some success. And whilst we had that success, we had some friends and family ask us if we could help them with their own labels. So specifically, we had a person who owned a gym who said, hey, do you mind if I put my logos on your clothing and sell them in my gym? And for a long time, we said no. But then we thought, you know what, why not? We're going to help you out. And we did that. So we put this person's gym logo on our clothing, and we put it into the gym, and they sold out immediately. And at that point, we kind of asked ourselves, well, wow, that was quite significant, to sell a collection that had already been online in the marketplace for a while. The clothing is good, but the brand is not really known. And we realized that our specialty and our skill set and coming from sales background, was to be able to actually go out there and help these business owners develop a product that can be sold to a pre-existing community or marketplace, in this case the gym members.
Yeah.
And so we kind of shifted from having our own, eventually we shifted after a couple of years from having our own retail label to what we are today, which is purely behind the scenes on the slide, which is what we like to call ourselves. And purely behind the scenes, we help not only gym owners, but we now work with social media influencers. In fact, if you've purchased something from Instagram over the last 12 to 24 months, it's from a clothing perspective, it's highly likely come out of this office and our team. So that's kind of what we do every day now, and we work behind the scenes to help people make it happen.
I love it. And so you said that, so you've got social media influencers and things like that. What sort of people, like if someone's going, like I've just thought of an idea and I want to have my own brand, is that the sort of person who can work with you guys, or is it someone where they're like, you got to have a way to be able to sell this stuff? Yeah,
I mean, it's a bit of both. You need to have some uniqueness. So we have 3 key clients. Social media influencers by far are our largest number of clients. We then have gym owners that own multiple locations, so usually 10 or 20 or more, because we only work with the head office side of things, because we have certain criteria to be able to make high quality, 100% customized apparel. We need to have a certain number of orders and volumes that we're able to achieve to be able to achieve those customized garments. But then obviously we have what we call the entrepreneur, or somebody who just wants to get started. And those are also a large number of our client base, and we work with them from an idea, inception of the idea, but really trying to get an understanding from them as to what makes their brand unique and why are people going to buy it. So we then go through our process, which is a 6-step process, to help people understand their target market and how to identify that, but then also produce a garment for that target market, and then also find the audience to help them sell and kind of continue to grow from there and actually make some sales when they finally launch.
Yeah, and I think that's so important, because I think a lot of people see it and they're like, oh, look, I found this place and I can just plug my logo in and I can order and it's print on demand and it's going to come out. But I know myself from history, like we back in the day had Hustle Hat Co. And we did some shirts and we did it on print on demand. And then one time the logo came out on the stomach and like we had no quality control over it and couldn't tell if it was going to work or not. And obviously you guys have done a phenomenal job, because now you guys were in the top 100 fast growing companies last year?
2018 we were the 84th fastest growing startup in Australia. This year, if we do the numbers again, we're likely going to be in the top 25 or so fastest growing companies in Australia. We just won Young Entrepreneur of the Year for Melbourne in the Wholesale Manufacturing and Distribution category, which is super exciting for myself and my wife Yetta, who owns and runs the business with me. And look, you know, the stories that you've shared about the logo and things, that's kind of exactly the same of the challenges that we personally went through 8 years ago when we had our own brand. And that's actually the same challenges that a lot of the people go through when they're starting their own brand and they're trying to go direct to China, or they're trying to go direct to using a print on demand type service. It's the quality, right? And almost anybody can bring a product to the market. It's a product and a brand are 2 separate things. The product should be part of a brand, it should belong to the brand. But there's so much more that needs to go into it. And that's kind of why we've developed this process, so that we can work with people to help them understand that there's so much more. And we like to call ourselves a brand management agency, not a manufacturer. So why work with one factory when you can work with 32? And so we have 32 at the moment right now today, and that's forever growing. Ethical manufacturing partners that we can rely on, that can produce high quality garments that we've visited personally, and that we have a team on the ground in China, wherever we're producing the garment, who can actually check and make sure that what we've ordered is actually what's being made, which is super important.
That's awesome. I love that. And so you touched on a few things there around brand. What do you define as a brand? Because I think a lot of people throw it around. It's like, I want to grow my brand, I want to do this, but I don't think anyone really has like a firm definition of it. Like, what's your guys' definition?
Yeah, that's a great question. I've never been asked that before. For us, a brand can be anything that somebody wants it to be. A business needs to be something that's making money. So you can be as excited, you can be a creative director of a brand for 20 years and have no money, you don't have a business if you're not making a sale. So It's probably a mixture of two things. We have and it's funny, we always get two types of people that work with us. We have the brand people who come in and talk to us about the aesthetics and the beautiful sort of inspiration behind the brand, and they might have a song that's connected to their brand, and they'll play the music, and that's very brand focused. Yeah. And so they have an idea of an overall direction and what the aesthetic of this particular label or brand is. And then we have people who actually couldn't care less about any of that stuff, and just like, I want this particular product, and they care more about the fabrics and those type of things. The most successful ones are the ones who can blend those two really well, and obviously make sales at the end of the day. Yeah. So for us, a brand encompasses the whole bigger picture. Who are you selling your products to? What are the products that you're going to sell? How are you going to sell it? What is it going to look like? Where are you going to sell it? All of those things need to be answered to have a complete business and a brand.
Yeah, I think that's great, because a lot of people, when they think about it, they will have a brand and they forget about business. And it's like, at the end of the day, you've still got to be able to pay your bills, right? You've still got to be able to do stuff and pay your orders when you make them.
Absolutely. I mean, I'll put my hand up. I left my full-time work way too soon, because I was one of those people who were like, yeah, I've got a business, I've got a brand now. I think we were doing $200 a month in sales. It's like, see you later, boss. Here's my resignation. I took a photo of my resignation letter. I put it on my socials. I'm like, I'm out. I'm done. I've got this. Big mistake. Really big mistake from our perspective. And probably it was good because it helped me push the idea of I need to make it. I kind of burned the bridges sort of thing. But way too soon for me. I probably should have gone to part-time, built a business, and grew the sales in the business, because I was so focused on, I've got a brand now. I had 10,000 followers on Instagram and all these sort of, on Facebook, sorry, back then. Yeah. You kind of get involved in your own hype. Yeah. But reality was a brand and a business needs to be able to sustain an income for yourself. You need to be able to pay your bills. You need to be able to pay your suppliers. You need to be able to make a profit and continue to invest, portions of those profits in the business so that you're growing. Yeah, and that's so important. That's awesome, and good distinctions there as well for people. But I think that sometimes, and I love your feedback on this, right? A lot of people go, cool, I'm going to launch and I'm going to sell my products for X, Y, and Z. And let's just say they're selling t-shirts for $50. I just sell 100 t-shirts a month, and then I'm making $5,000. Yeah. But it's not like they don't get to keep $5,000, right? Because there's margins, like in this industry, like just as ballpark, what's the sort of margin that people are operating on? And I mean, just even like when you look at overheads of website, manufacturing, like staff costing. Definitely. I mean, that's a really great question. And actually, one of the biggest challenges that we face in the industry, or for people who are looking to start out, is they're so focused on their first collection. They're so focused on, this is what I'm going to drop, this is what's going to make my brand, that they forget that there's economies of scales when you come to apparel and manufacturing. So when you're starting out, you obviously want to try and start out as small as possible. So our minimum order quantity, just to give you some live numbers here, is 150 units per garment per color. So if you're doing a legging in 3 different colors, that's 450 units of leggings, okay? On average, we kind of anticipate most people will spend about $20,000 for inventory alone in starting up the label, so the product side of things. You've then got your websites. You then should have probably an equivalent amount for marketing. Yeah, because doing some posts on social media is not enough. You should be doing advertising. Yeah, as you guys would know. I mean, if you're going to do advertising, this is your people. But it's super important to be able to understand how to market your business and how to market your brand. So there's no sort of kind of quick answer, but as a minimum, you want to have 20 grand at least to spend in some decent quality garments, and if possible, it's about the same for marketing once you do launch, and websites and those type of things. So it's a 40K at least to start up with. Yeah, and because people find they just go, well, look, I've seen this person, they've launched a clothing label. It doesn't look like it's that hard. Yeah. Like, it's just easy. You just chuck a few logos and stuff, and away they go. And then, as you said, you've got the inventory cost, you've got your original website build cost, then you've got your cost per acquisition. So everyone sees these prices, and when they go, oh, this person's selling leggings for $120 or whatever, they're like, oh, they must be killing us. Like, well, no, you don't know what they're like. All those things add up. They could be making very minimal amounts on there, and then you have to have that scale to do it. Absolutely. And so that's kind of what goes back to focusing so much on your first collection. That your first collection, if you sell it, is great. You probably make your money back. You're not going to really make tons of profits from that.
Yeah.
It's your second and third. It's once you start going from your MOQs, your minimum order quantities, to actually getting some significantly large quantities in the factories that we're going to be able to significantly reduce your purchase price.
Yeah.
And that's when you start seeing economies of scale, because you've got, you're going to buy 1,000 leggings a lot cheaper than you're going to buy per unit, then you're going to buy 150.
Yeah.
So your margins will grow. A lot of people also go, okay, I'm going to start selling in places like the Iconic or all these various webs. You can't sell there if you only have 150 leggings. They're going to sell them out for you. They don't even take you on as a brand.
Yeah.
So obviously, the more you can put into inventory and with a balance, you want to validate the idea and make sure you've got a marketplace who is interested.
Yeah.
But it's the second, third, and probably the fourth and fifth collection. So once you get into 2 years in, that where you start seeing some significant profits and you start seeing some significant scale in the business, where you get a lot of people starting to follow you and a lot of people really interested in your brand.
Yeah.
And that's when it starts to look easy.
Yeah.
But it's most people don't get through those first 2 years.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where we come in, is we're here to educate them on the entire process. It's to kind of take the first collection hat off and put on the brand hat and go, what is this going to look like for the next couple of years, and plan it out. We have forecasting software that we're able to tell you what colors are going to come out in 2 years from now. So we can plan and really develop a label for you where you can constantly, in a year from now, have a monthly or quarterly drop where you continue to build hype around the business, really exciting, high quality goods, and then really just run the business from a laptop. And help and let our team kind of build everything, do the day-to-day hustle behind the scenes. And you can do whatever you want to do, which is why social media influencers love us.
Yeah, and I think that's very important, because it's like you still have to build a business.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like, I'm just going to do a label and suddenly on the side I'm going to be making millions of dollars. Like it's actually a business.
It's a business. Even the social media influencers that we work with who have a pre-existing audience, so much easier than not having an audience. So people interested in purchasing their product, they're still super meticulous on the product side of things. They're still in here once a week meeting with us. It is a business that we're building.
Yeah.
Yes, we can help a lot and take a lot of the thing of it, but they're the creative director.
Yeah.
So they need to give us a direction. They need to tell us because the brand is going to really be, like I said earlier, the brand is going to be an extension of themselves, and it's going to communicate to their audience, and that can only come from the person in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
And it's the same with entrepreneurs. It's the people who are your audience are really going to eventually connect with you. It's why Ben Francis from Gymshark is kind of 2 in 1. Everybody follows him and they follow his brand. He's the guy who founded it when he was 19 years old, and it's fastest growing activewear label in the world right now, which is pretty incredible. Yeah. And he's very active on social media, and he's constantly showing the behind the scenes and explaining to his audience what the brand's about.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then touching on that, on the influencer side of things, obviously you deal with a lot.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, is there a way for you guys, someone comes to you like, I've got all these followers, because we've seen people that have had all these followers. I remember there was a thing going around about a lady, and she couldn't even sell like 20 t-shirts, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, I thought you were an influencer. And then you have other people where they do it, and I know you've recently had some great success with people who have just like sold out straight away off the bat.
Yeah.
How do you know if someone is an actual influencer or not when they come to you?
Yeah, a lot of brands ask us this now as well, because we're using influencers to sell other brands as well.
Yeah.
So it's a great question. We have what we call the cull method, right?
Mm-hmm.
So and we take basically the analytics that Instagram provides us about the influencer, and we do this with the influencer themselves.
Yeah.
And we sit down and go, okay, if you have 1.3 million followers, let's actually look at what's the core of that following that's actually going to care about your product. Now, if we find that you're a female influencer and you have 1.3 million guys following you, do not launch a swimwear brand.
Yeah.
Like a super simple math. Probably better off to launch some hats.
Yeah.
Or like some socks or something. Maybe like his and her underwear.
Yeah.
Like they're still to build a brand around it, but don't do a swimwear brand. Yeah. And so that's a big problem for a lot of influencers, is they get caught up in the idea that, oh wow, there's people following me, not really looking at the analytics and who are those people, and not designing for those people. So we have the cull method. So if we take the 1.3 million followers as an example, we're going to go, okay, well, 300,000 of those people are guys, so they're not going to really care, and let's just cull them out, and they're not going to mind about the leggings or athleisure brand that you're about to launch. Yeah? You've then got people in this certain demographic, which is known to have bots and farmers and things. Let's just take them out. I'm not saying they're all not going to purchase, but you need to be conservative with your numbers.
Yeah.
And you keep culling using our process, and you get to a number, let's call it 500,000 people. of the 1.3 that are now your core audience. And we might go even 300 to 500,000, so keep it really conservative. We then go, all right, 1% only of that audience is what you need in terms of your total inventory levels. So if it's 500,000 people, 5,000 units is what you're going to order for collection number 1 and likely going to sell out of. Yeah. So if you sell 5,000 units, that's almost $500,000 or something like that. So we understand the math from there. But that's what makes social media influencers really successful in their own label, is because 1, they've got the analytics, they have the audience, and 2, they're likely selling other brands already, so they can really understand those numbers and see how many people are purchasing garments from them already. Yeah. So that allows us to build a brand for those people very specifically.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that, and that's good. And I think that's something that everyone should look at, and just because people have followers doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be able to be successful, something like that. Because again, until you pull and you cull all those numbers down, and some people I would guess that actually be a lot less than that. You cull down, you're like, okay, you got 10 people that are going.
Well, absolutely. So there's people who come to us who do 1.3 is great, but if you have 200,000 followers, that's become a much smaller audience. So again, you want to have less inventory, and you don't want to overcapitalize. If you sell out, it's a great problem, but you're better off being conservative. On the flip side, we've had influencers come to us where they've got 200,000 followers. 90% of them are the core audience. So it's like, that's insane. Yeah. That's incredible. That's high engagement. These guys are going to definitely buy a quality product from you. So let's do it. So it's usually once you get to the 5 and 10 million followers where you need to cover a lot of that, because 50% might be guys. So all of a sudden, half of your audience is out of the question, unless you're launching something specifically for men.
Yeah, I remember I was at an event in Canada last year, and they had like a graph, and it was like up to 100,000, and then there was like a gap between, I think, like 100,000 and 2 million, where all the people kind of in the middle, they had too much of a spread of different people, and it's like there wasn't enough to really do anything with. Yeah. And these guys used to do a lot of the social media outreach for Red Bull and things like that, and they went, cool, we only got to work with you if you're 100,000 or less, or 2 million or above.
Yeah, that's super interesting. I mean, we probably found that with some, not all. There's definitely some people in that sort of 100,000 to 2 million mark who have high engagement, who are really authentic and really intelligent business people. We've launched brands for those influencers, and they've done extremely well. But on the flip side, we've also told a lot of people within that same following number that, hey, this is not going to work and we don't think we should do this, and they've gone and done it elsewhere and not had the success. So it's definitely in line with what we're finding. Absolutely. Yeah, no,
that's awesome. I love that. So it's always good to know, it's like, get real with the numbers, right? It's like,
absolutely,
you like, just because you have something, it's like, on social media, like especially me being in social media, like, oh, how come you don't have all these numbers? Like, well, number 1, I don't have enough time to spend all my time on there. I'm doing social media. Yeah. But number 2, it's like, cool, I might only have 30,000, but it's a pretty solid 30,000 people.
It's the core that's so important, not the total number. And I was actually on stage at the Future of Retail conference, I think 2 weeks ago, talking to large Australian retailers. We're talking, they've got brands or they've got stores all over Australia, extremely large retailers, and we're having a conversation with them specifically about the fact that it's not the total number of followers, it's the core audience that's the most important. The core audience is what's going to purchase your product. They're the guys and girls who are actually going to be your one key fan, and the guys who share your stuff, who always comment, who really engage. That's more important than your entire email list for our business, or the businesses that we work with. So for us, the core audience is number 1, and then if we can build an email list as we go, that's second to the audience. Yeah, it's a bonus. And then obviously you've got tools on Facebook and things along those lines where that will be able to find you a lookalike audience so that you can expand, but you want to find a lookalike audience to your core, not to your whole followers. Yeah, because it gets really expensive to find, a million people who are similar, where reality is you probably only need 100,000 and they're going to continue to grow and expand your business for you.
Yeah, that's so true. And so obviously with people, anyone thinking that around like, cool, now that sounds good and I want to maybe look at and consider that. and obviously this is one of the topics that you're going to be talking about at Certified Ballers Live. What are you going to be going into a little bit deeper? So if anyone's listening, they're like, oh, this sounds really cool and it's something that I'm interested in, like, what are you going to be covering off for us there?
So we're going to cover the 4 key elements that you need to build a successful product-based business. And that's in the athleisure space, or really you can take any of this and turn it into any product. So it doesn't have to be activewear and swimwear, it could be candles or whatever it might be. So if you have an idea for a product-based business, we're going to be covering 1, how to bring that product to market, so the elements required to bring a product to marketplace, but then also the elements required to create a holistic brand and actually make sales when you launch. So it's a start to finish. We're going to cover all of the things that you need to know about to start the brand, build a product, bring it to market, make sure it sells, and grow it all from there. So we found that we will cover our own 6-step process that we follow internally, but also we'll cover the 4 key elements that we found that you will need to make sure you tick off to launch a specific brand. Yeah, beautiful. And now, is there anyone that you found, like when people have come to you, that this is not for? Where they go like, oh, I really want to do it. Be like, look, this is just not going to work for you, your type of business. Yeah. You definitely need to have a unique selling proposition. A lot of people kind of come to us and say, oh, I want to start a product for anybody who goes to the gym. That's not a unique selling proposition. That's every single product in the world. I mean, is it a guy? Is it a girl? How old are they? What gym? What are they doing? Are they doing Pilates or yoga, or are they doing hardcore training? Because there are different fabrics involved with that. And they say, oh, this for everyone. Yeah. It's like, great, well, do you have $1 million budget to purchase all of these products? Or like, what is it you're doing? Yeah. So if we can't have the conversation and get to a point where they understand that it can't be for everyone, then we'll say, hey, we're not right for you. Definitely. Because realistically, we get about 300 inquiries a month, and we'll take on 10, if that, if there's 10 good ones in there. Yeah. So for us, it's about really understanding who we can help. And it's not a budget thing. Yeah. It's actually a person thing. What's their mindset like? A lot of people come here and almost need our convincing to start their own brand. Yeah. It's like, if I need you to convince you to start it, how am I going to get you when shit hits the fan? How are you going to put in the hustle needed to go beyond that challenging point? Yeah. So if I can't get you to start, I definitely can't get you to push past that challenging point. Yeah. So again, those mindsets it's a big one. Yeah. Probably the biggest thing we look for is, do they have the right mindset to start their own business? Because it's a challenge to start your own business and become an entrepreneur. It's not easy. Yeah, exactly. And it's the same as like exactly what we kind of go down, which is around the niche aspects. Like, you need to have that. And like, I look now, so I've been looking at work clothes. So I'm looking at like pants and work shirts, and it's like, cool, I could buy any. Yeah. But the ads that I see on Facebook that get me the most is there's work shirts, which are, like, again, whether this is right or not, NASA grade t-shirts with the hair, and it's like it's breathable, it's comfortable, blah blah blah, and I'm like, cool, I'm gonna buy these. I want that one. Yeah. And then it's like the all-day pants, so they're like same material as like essentially track pants, but they look like work pants, and I'm like, I'm gonna buy them because I want to be super comfortable. Yeah. And those things, it's like they've chosen a niche, so they're not going for every single person. They're going for the people that go to work and they're like, cool, I still need to look good and professional, but I want to be comfortable. Yeah. And then for me, I'm going to buy all their stuff. Absolutely. So essentially, I mean, part of that is that athleisure is turning a lot of these sort of corporate labels into functional brands. And that's the stuff that you're talking about, where you go from a work shirt, which you can buy for $20 from somewhere, but you would probably spend $50 to $60 or $70 or even $80 on something that has a reason behind it, has some functionality. And so their USP is for people who want to be comfortable but still look presentable in corporate, right? It's super interesting and super targeted, and they're able to find you because they're able to identify you as their ideal target market. So we would do the same with people. Yeah. The challenge becomes when your target market is everybody who goes to the gym, that you just can't target that. You have to niche it, as you're saying. So it's a great example of people needing to understand that there needs to be an end consumer in mind. Probably to start off with, that end consumer is really similar to yourself, because you almost always design stuff for yourself and what you want, but you want to almost take the hat off of, I'm not designing for myself, but I'm designing for my potential customers. Yeah. And those who do that really well will see a lot more success than those who haven't even thought about that. Yeah, 100%. And I always say to people, like, it's
Like I don't put trust into something if they're a generalist. It's like if you're going to go to a place and go to a restaurant and they're serving Mexican, Italian, Indian food, probably going to have a bad time.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to be sick tomorrow.
Something wrong there.
Yeah,
for
it's
sure.
not going to work. But it's like, cool, I want Mexican. I go to a Mexican restaurant.
Definitely.
Right? That's the niche. And if you don't have that, it's like you'll be nothing to everyone.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And one final question before we wrap up. What's one question that I didn't ask you that I should have?
Oh, great question. Wow. Probably what's next, I guess.
What's next in like 10 seconds?
Okay, so for us, I think we see the athleisure space turning into the wellness space, so going from active to active lifestyle. And so we're about to get into next year the whole idea of wellness products, so beauty products, skincare, tanning lotions, whatever it might be. Anybody living in an active lifestyle will be able to bring a product to that area and build a brand around it and make sure we launch for those people.
Beautiful, guys. So if you love any of that, make sure you join us at Certified Ballers Live, www.certifiedballerslive.com.au. Get a ticket, hear what Simon has to say, and come and hang out with us for 2 days.
Definitely can't wait.
Yeah, beautiful. Until next time, guys. Adios.
See you there.